Good morning, my friends. It is January the 2nd. I hope you guys had a wonderful New Year's Day, getting together with your family, friends, and doing all that good stuff that you do on New Year's Day, partying and sharing your resolution with one another. I didn't do much. I did just relax, watch a couple of movies, and just kind of reflection on the past year and my upcoming year, what I'm going to do and so forth. Didn't have any big meal to eat or anything, just had leftovers, and wife had to work, so we just later on got together and relaxed a little bit. So that was it, but it was wonderful day. And as I shared yesterday, my first video, it was wonderful to do that. Finally, I did it. It was for so many years I was thinking about it. So it was good to get into action. So today I want to share about identity, as we start a new year and we're thinking about different things, what goals we want to achieve and so forth. And we reflect on ourselves and say, hey, if I do this, this is what I'm going to get. But when I get that, is this who I am, right? And what I mean by saying that, because that's quite vague, but say, for instance, you wanted to, you have been studying to be an architect, so this year you will graduate, you'll become architect, and so people will recognize you as you have graduated, say, from Chapel or from Harvard or wherever, or a community, local college, university. Your identity is going to be reflecting on, oh, I'm an architect, right? Now, yes, but anybody says, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm an architect, that becomes a profession, or we are kind of recognized by people by what we do, where we live, where we come from, what nationality we are, or what, kind of lifestyle we live. We are rich, poor, stuff like that. So our identity very much lies on that. We all have filled out job application at some point. We have been asked, what race are you? What is your identity? Color, brown, nationality, Indian, and so forth. And we are given a number, and we are identified with a number. Like you go to a Social Security office, what's your Social Security number? They see your driver's license, there's a number, your picture on it. That's our identity. Everybody we walk through in the world, we have to show for any government stuff or whatever we want to buy. Even in our credit cards, our name is there, our identity is there. This is my name, this is who I am, and so forth. And then we are categorized into that. Okay, you're rich, you're poor, you're white, you're black, you're brown, you're Asian, you're an American, you're an Indian, and so forth. We dissect people into those identities or demographics, and that's who it becomes, that's who we are. But I want to go a little deeper today, is to say, what is your true identity? And that's the reflection on this year, is with the positivity of what we are, who we are. And I want to just go back to the basics, is when God created us, he created us in his image. He didn't create us, you are an olive skin person, you are little white, you are black, you are, yellow. He did not dissect us into that kind of category. It's a thought process, and our mindset has made that us. Now, historically, people have different opinions, and each has their opinions, and some have facts and they feel this is the fact. But even in all those, you need to have faith and belief. Okay, yeah, this is the truth, But the truth is always what's inside. and the truth is what makes you, right? The fact is, when the outside person tells you this is who you are, you tend to become, that's your identity. Okay, this is who I am. Now, when I grew up in India, my parents never, I can't remember. If they did, I don't remember. They never said, you are Indian, you are brown, you are this, they never said that to me, ever. I can't remember. Now, I don't know if they told my siblings or not, I have no idea. But I can't remember ever my parents sat there and told me, you are brown, your connection is only to the brown people, never, nothing like that. So I have no idea. All they told me was love God, because they were Christians, they were followers of Christ, and so forth. And so they always pointed me to God, walk in his ways, do things, be kind to people, love people, don't look at if they're rich or poor, just treat them nice. And that's what I was raised in. So my upbringing was a bit different compared to a lot of other people might have had. So, but this is where I want to bring out things into light is, why are we focused so much on the outward identity of who we are? We definitely do. And I do that. I've been guilty of that. Even though I was not raised like that, I have adapted because the system, the school system, the society teaches us this, that you are this, and that's why this is who you are. Nobody actually sits down and tells you, you're a human being. You are kind. You're loving. This is who you were made to be. Because if I have to bring you back, and I will bring you back, is to the scriptures. In Genesis, it says, when God created man, he made him in his image. So my color, everything that I have is a shell, is pure shell, which once I die, dust to dust. And my identity doesn't. What people remember is, how I look like, but they remember what kind of a impact I made in their life or in the world. They remember, hey, Nivesh was a kind, or Nivesh was a jerk, he was such a horrible person, or he was empathetic and he was, you could rely on him, and so forth. So good, bad, and the ugly will come out. So our identity actually lies in what we leave behind as person. Not that, hey, yeah, we may describe them, they look very beautiful, they look handsome, they look, and so forth. We may describe them, but what they remember is how you made them feel, right? So your identity actually doesn't matter where you were born, who you are, in demographic or whatever it is, or what position you hold. Your identity actually lies as, are you kind, generous, loving, compassionate? How do you make other people feel? You see, that's your identity. And I feel that has been lost in today's world. We are so focus driven on the color of our skin, on our gender, and what we achieve, how much money we have in the bank, or what kind of skills we have. We are all pretty much recognized on our accomplishments, but we never look down to see, you are a loving person. I love you because you are a fascinating person and I want to have a meal with you. We don't want to associate with people because they don't look like us, they don't think like us, they don't wear things like us, or they are not in the society like us. We always, even though segregation has been done with, we create them every day, and I'm not going to get into the race thing and everything because that's a different topic and we can someday talk about it. But today I'm talking about identity, who you are. You have to reflect that on yourself and say, who am I? Am I Indian? Yes. Born in India, I live in America. I am an American. My passport says I'm an American, right? Because when I travel, what nationality you are? I'm American, right? When I had an Indian passport, what nationality? I'm an Indian, right? They recognized me with my demographic, where I was born, how I look. They look at the picture, they match my fingerprints and so forth, right? That was my identity. But they don't know who I am as a person. Now, because the way I look or whatever it is, so now if I'm a celebrity, the look is like, hey, you can go in, blah, 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 give me a different treatment. But if I'm just an ordinary person who goes, I have no fame, nothing, I'm just carrying an American passport, I'm dressed normal, they're looking at, we think you are a terrorist. Why? Oh, because my name says whatever Muslim name, or hey, you look like this demographic. We don't trust you, right? They look at you and make the determination on that. Whatever it is, right? Our focus is so on outward and what we have accomplished, and we dictate that to person, but we never go deep and say, hey, you're a great guy, you're a great girl, you're a great, person. We always, and we are so focused on gender, equality, and we are contending, to bring our identity on what is outward. What is outward? I don't want to offend anybody, and that's not the intention of this channel or anything on my intention. So please forgive me if you feel offended, but I'm just bringing out the point for all of us to reflect and give one moment to think, what are we fighting for? What identity are we fighting for? People are fighting for their color. My color gets, suppressed. This other color gets privilege. My gender gets suppressed. The other gender gets more money and this. Oh, I have no gender. I don't fit in. Take a step back and say, this is all a shell. Who are you inside? Who are you? Are you a good person? Are you willing to lay down a life for your friend, or say like, hey, you are in need, let me help you, and not look at your color, your gender, your profession, or anything, but just be a human being? You see, we are so fascinated and caught up because the system, the media, has conditioned our mind to look at the outward and not look at what's inside. Now, I am not saying, hey, I have been guilty of it. I won't say I haven't, but I have grown out of it. Now, when I thought about it for a second, I said, what am I fighting for? And to tell you, you see, I'm brown, married to a white woman, and in a couple of days, we'll be married for 32 years, right? I've known her 33 years. In those days, it was not very prominent for interracial marriage. People gave us looks. People say, and I was approached by one of the person, who said, don't you think you should be marrying your own kind? There were a couple of people who said that. I said, I am marrying my own kind. That's human being, right? I'm not marrying an animal. I'm not marrying, I'm marrying a lady, and I'm a guy, and that's what it is. Now, that kind was my race, my color, and where I came from. And I never even thought, because I was not raised that way, right? So it was a little bit shocking, but I said, you know what? But then I also looked at the other side, my family on the other side. My parents were not like that. But my parents were only concerned that I was not marrying some hussy, They were protecting me as parents, like, hey, we don't want you to fall into a relationship that is going to be, only for 3 days, and next thing you know, she drops you or you drop her. We don't want that. And it didn't matter who she was. It was just that I made a sound decision because I was young. I was only 21 years old. So mindful, I can understand that. And I have a 23-year-old daughter, so I felt the same way when she was getting married. So that's just the parent thing. But as a person, they were looking at a person. Is she a good person? Is she going to be good? They didn't say like, oh, is she beautiful? What color of her skin? That was not that. Is she a good person? I feel this is what we need to come back to basics is how God made us. God made us in our image. And if I die tonight, my shell has got nothing to do with it. My skin doesn't matter. My race doesn't matter. Is whether, now I believe in Christ. I believe I'm going to go to heaven. That's my belief. Some people, they believe in reincarnation, 7 cycles. Some people believe that there is no God. To each his own. And you believe what you feel is best for you. But I believe I'm going to be in heaven. So my life lived here, my identity, if it was just on focus on the outward and the number that I have on my credit card, on my bank account, or my social security number, if that was my only identity, then it's very sad. Because I believe I have to give account to God of what I did when he created me, when he brought me into this world to reflect and to be his image, because he created me in his image. So I should be a reflection to you, and you should be the reflection to me. So we are actually the same. We are the same. There is no difference between you and me. Whether you're man, woman, whatever, you and I are same. Because the spirit, the soul, the thought that we carry as human beings is the same. We have segregated ourselves with the conditioning of the world that has put us. And that's why to be relevant in this world is for us to reprogram our thoughts, reprogram our mind to say, why am I fighting with myself? Because we are one. You and I are one. So why are we fighting each other? That means I'm fighting myself. You see, us need to come to be us. You know, yes, our demographics, our food likings, all this, that's variety, that's great. But we share that. But we share that with love. And love is something, it's an expression of what we feel inside. You know, and we are made out of love. You know, the Bible says, some might not know this, and some might, but John 3:16 says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall have eternal life. Just think about eternity in itself. Now, whether you're atheist or not, that's irrelevant to me at the moment. That's your choice. And whatever religion you follow, that's your choice. But eternity, the eternity is right here. Every day you get up, you look at the world. The grass is green. There are people all over. Do you know that you are walking all over the place? Because we are all one. Because we were created in the image of God. But because the conditioning of what has been given to us, been told to us, you're black, you're white, you're yellow, you're brown, you're Mexican, you're Indian, you're Japanese. This is all something that has been given to us and told us, and that makes us different. I'm not saying different is good, it's variety. But if we are competing that you become Indian because you are Japanese, and Japanese people say you become Indian, then we are struggling with each other. We are fighting with each other. Or we are saying we are superior than you, and you're superior than me, or whatever it is. We are fighting against ourselves. But if we accept one another, like, hey, you are Japanese, but you are me, I am you. We are one. And that's what our identity is. So come back to the basics and think about it, that your identity doesn't lie in any of these outward things. Your identity actually lies in who you are. And that is love, joy, peace, happiness. If that's who you are, then you're going to distribute that to the world. And that's who we are all. That's who we are. But we have ourselves, we're fighting among ourselves. And I don't want to do that anymore. I used to in my younger days because that's what was the system taught me. Nivesh, you are Indian. You were ruled by British for 150 years. They're like, or 350 years, whatever the history says. I can't actually get the numbers down. But because they are white, they are British. Come on. That's past. Now, if they were conditioned that way, they can't help it. But now I have known the truth and I know the knowledge of who I am, that God made me. I'm not going to fight those battles because those are not my battles, because that's somebody else's battle. Because that's what. And when you are dissatisfied with who you are, that's when all these things happen. But when you're fulfilled and you're satisfied and you're comfortable in who you are, then you're not fighting with yourself anymore. You're complete. You have recognized who you are. And I would say this to the Christians. Please, don't take it as an offense. I'm a Christian, but do not use scriptures to divide us. You are not God. I'm not God. God is God. Yes, we are made in His image and we are co-creators. We are little gods, yeah. But don't make us feel we are superior and we have all the answers. We don't. I wish we did, but we don't. We are all equal. Now we have understood the glory of God. We have understood who He is. Other people have not. And let God show them that. But you don't be, or I should say us, I'm including me, to say, oh, you do this and you will be there. No. And this is what I'm trying to portray is, we are all one, but portray on love and kindness and go back to the basics of why you were created. And because my faith teaches me, we were created to have fellowship with God, fellowship with one another, live in harmony. And if we have to go back to the basics and in Genesis where, they ate the fruit of good and evil and so forth. I'm not going to teach and preach, but I'm just bringing a point of Cain and Abel. They were siblings, right? Cain killed Abel out of jealousy. Now there are so many layers of truth in that and so forth. And I could go on and on, my degree is in theology, but I'm not here to say, but I'm just saying is what caused him that? Because he was jealous of his own brother. Why? Because his offering was accepted. Now, think that for a moment. We have such jealousy, and our identity lies in that. I got to be this, so people like me, people will love me more, right? That's, or I have a good life, I have a best cars, best houses, so I don't care who I run over to get what I want. Because our identity is so jaded with what the society tells us what we should be or who we should be, right? But this is what happened with Cain and Abel, and this is my thought process. So, don't attack me for, oh, you're preaching false things. No, I'm just making a point here. Is Cain had jealousy towards his brother because his offering was accepted. But if you look at Abel, there's a little display. He was mild, meek, humble. He was a good guy, right? He felt in his thought he wanted to give the best to God as an offering, right? Cain, or he might have given the best, but his attitude and his feelings towards that offering was not. So for instance, say you go to a restaurant, right? And you ask the waiter, okay, and one of the waiters that comes and she's totally horrible to you, right? And, you think you're going to give her happily a tip? because that's her job, right? She has to give you blah, blah, blah. So she's just coming and doing her job because that's what she's supposed to do, is bring your food from the kitchen to the table. But, and the food is fresh and so forth, whatever it is. But her attitude is horrible. Are you going to give her a tip? No. She's doing her job, right? Cain was doing his job. Okay, I have to give this because this is what the tradition, whatever it was. He gave. But his attitude was not good. So, you know what? I don't want it. I'm not going to accept your offering because the way you have treated me, right? But Abel was kind. He was, willing, was sweet, right? So his offering was acceptable. And it's the same thing in our lives as we portray ourselves in such a way, and what happens, we fight to get what we want, and when we don't get it, we get bitter. We hate our brother, our sister. We hate ourselves because sometimes we fight among ourselves because we have not been accepted. And our acceptance will only come when we are willing to give wholeheartedly of who we are, So the attitude that comes with it, one of the viewers has asked, how can we have a good attitude in this chaotic world? And I am going to share that in my next topic. But the fact I'm bringing this out here now is your identity lies in how you live your life every day, not of what you have accrued, your color, your race, your gender, or your number, your bank account number, or your bank balance number. That is not what your identity. Your identity is who are you as a person. Because trust me, once these eyes shut, you're 6 feet under, nobody gives a hoot. If you have accrued millions of dollars, somebody else will get it. Your family will get it, which is great. The government will get it. Somebody else will enjoy. And you work your butt off. You ran over people. You mistreated people. You would not give your, even $5 to the poor because no, it's for me. I want this, being that selfish or whatever it was. Who is getting it? Nobody is. You're not getting it. You're not taking it anywhere. But what they are going to remember you by is, he was rich or he gave. He lived a life to the fullest, yeah. But how did you impact them? Did you inspire them? Did you give them a kind word, and spoke into their life to change their paradigm, to change their thought process? So these are all the things that identifies you. And that is my thoughts, my opinions. You can disagree with that, and that's fine. But my whole point is for us to live a life of abundance, of love, care, free, living in freedom and not carrying this burden that my identity should be this, what is written in 10 rules system. My identity is actually already there. Love, joy, happiness, and all this. This is who I am. I am love. I'm a person who is able to connect with you. I understand your grief and I'm here for you. The empathy. These are all the attributes, the qualities that makes you a person, a human being. And we are all one, made in the image of God. And so I want to reflect on that one and say your identity from now onwards, if you have to reflect it, think about it, that you were made in the image of God. And that's where your identity is, how you reflect God's love, kindness, and generosity to the world. Have a wonderful day. Love you guys much. And please share, subscribe, and like this video. And if you think you've benefited this and you think somebody else is going to benefit from this, please do share. I would love that. And I would love your thoughts on this video. Let me know what you think. And I would love to discuss. If you have anything, keep it positive. Keep growing, and this year is going to be great. Have a wonderful day.